Hello, my name is Dr. Marcus Ettinger. I'm a holistic chiropractor and integrated medicine practitioner in Orange, California. My special expertise is in diabetes prevention and pre-diabetes reversal. Today I'm going to shock you with information that could potentially save and change lives. So let's start with a simple question. Did you know that almost 1 out of 4 Americans are either diabetic or pre-diabetic? According to the Centers of Disease Control, 57 million Americans are pre-diabetic and another 24 million are diabetic. Did you also know the symptoms of diabetes can be silent, all the while damaging the heart, kidneys, eyes, nerves, and other organs? When symptoms finally surface in middle age, they are usually accepted by many doctors as a natural part of the aging process. Most people are usually diabetic for years before being diagnosed by a doctor. There really should be a public and medical outcry, as in the next 24 hours, 2,200 people will be diagnosed with diabetes. Over 500 will die from it, and almost 220 will go blind or have a limb amputated. There are more complications including heart disease, high blood pressure, nervous system damage, liver disease, Alzheimer's, and predisposition to some cancers. Why is there an epidemic of diabetes? While there may be a genetic component to diabetes in some, the majority have full control as to whether they get it or not by the choices they make in their daily diet and exercise habits. The primary issue has to do with people's eating habits and their consequences, which include excessive weight gain, especially intra-abdominal fat, lack of vital nutrients, as people eat junk and processed foods, and lack of exercise. You can see how our food habits have changed over time in just sugar and grain consumption, almost a 40-fold increase with sugar alone. Are you wondering where all the sugar is coming from? Here's a clue. Just look at the typical foods people eat and you will see they all have a high carbohydrate content, which can be as unhealthy as refined sugar if overeaten. Bad food habits induce stress to the human body that promote all kinds of diseases. Choosing junk food will increase one's consumption of refined sugar, sodium, and saturated fat, while reducing consumption of vegetables, fiber, key minerals, omega-3 fats, vitamins, antioxidants, and beneficial probiotic bacteria. The other side of the coin is the increase in portion size and calorie intake since the 70s. Portion sizes were about half what they are today. How has our eating habits affected us? Look at our weight 20 years ago. No state had a high obesity rate, and most were less than 10%. Today, no state has an obesity rate below 10%, and most are over 25%. In addition, our healthcare system is not promoting prevention. We are waiting for disease conditions to set in, and then we manage the disease by treating symptoms. That's why experts are predicting America will go bankrupt from increased healthcare costs. We are already seeing the effect of disease care system on companies and individuals. The status quo is not sustainable, especially when the CDC is predicting that if nothing changes, of all infants born today, 1 out of 3 will become diabetic adults in the future. The bad news, there's no silver bullet to solve the problem. The good news is diabetes is preventable. Let's analyze the progression of diabetes. As I said, for most people, diabetes starts with bad eating habits that result in excess weight and nutritional deficiencies. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, where people start noticing high levels of blood sugar, resulting in defects in insulin production and receptor sensitivity that causes sugar to build up in the body. In conjunction with these changes, people start noticing elevated blood fat levels, such as triglycerides and LDL cholesterol. However, years before people are diagnosed with diabetes, they are in a pre-diabetic zone. But what is crazy with our healthcare system is that the typical physician will monitor elevated blood sugar levels and wait for people to actually become diabetic and then be giving them drugs. What is not explained is that for about 90% of those who do go on to conventional care and diabetic medication, the complications are not prevented. So what is conventional care for diabetes and pre-diabetes? Some will be prescribed high blood pressure medications and/or statin drugs. Once diabetic, people are put on certain diabetic medications and recommended an eating plan that is useless and, in fact, can be dangerous for people with diabetes. These steps do not get the condition under control. Less than 12% of diabetics being treated with medication have their blood pressure, blood sugar, and or cholesterol under control. The simplest way to beat this disease is to prevent it. This was proven in a landmark study in 2001 that showed prediabetes can be prevented from becoming diabetes with weight management, correct eating habits, and regular exercise. The easiest way to determine if you are pre-diabetic is to answer a questionnaire available with this presentation that will highlight probability of prediabetes. So how can prediabetes reversal be accomplished? First, we need to get rid of abdominal fat as it drives metabolic syndrome. People will then see immediate changes as damaging inflammatory chemicals released by fat cells are reduced. People also need to have healthy food habits, optimally eating 3 times a day, eating fruits, veggies, and fiber in combination with protein, which gives the body crucial amino acids needed to build muscle mass instead of fat, while minimizing junk food, which is void of nutrients. Addressing nutritional deficiencies is important because people who are pre-diabetic are deficient in zinc, chromium, magnesium, and are also low in essential fatty acids. Exercise is always recommended, even if it's just walking for 20 minutes a day. To make all this possible, a structured system needs to be used. My system works like this. I have people eat according to a meal plan that puts their body into a biochemical state to burn excess fat, especially abdominal fat, without feeling hungry. In between meals, a nutritional snack is taken to prevent any cravings, as people will be on an elimination diet. There will be one program for men and a different one for women. 7 different meal plans are provided so that there are 7 suggested breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, and that way people do not get bored with what they eat. If the suggestion of 120 grams of chicken or the 35 grams of spinach for dinner is not to your fancy, you will have a simple way of substituting the protein or carb as shown here. A 4-page symptom questionnaire is completed before this eating plan is started, and then the same questionnaire is completed at the end of 3 weeks. Here are the 14 health conditions I will evaluate. The results of the questionnaire may show 4 severe, 6 moderate, and 4 mild conditions. However, the challenge is to know the root cause of the symptoms, as they could be due to bad food habits, excessive weight, nutritional deficiencies, or a chronic condition. But as you go onto an elimination diet and lose excess fat, the changes in the responses to the same questionnaire 3 weeks later can give great insight as to the root cause of your symptoms. The new results may now change to 1 severe, 2 moderate, and 4 mild. To a trained specialist like myself, this provides a wonderful insight into the root cause of your symptoms and give a roadmap to steps needed to prevent diabetes and promote wellness. All of this information will be provided and explained at the end of 3 weeks, where an action plan is provided to cover abdominal fat status and how much more weight needs to be lost, blood sugar support needs if unhealthy eating habits are resumed, existence of potential food sensitivities, allergies that may need addressing, possibility of chronic conditions needing attention, correcting nutritional deficiencies to prevent chronic conditions from developing, and a host of other important wellness markers that will be explained at the meeting. If these wellness markers are ignored, over time they will become disease conditions. A great example of this is diabetes, that's costing America $174 billion a year because people are waiting to become diabetic instead of preventing it. So don't be the last one to jump on the prevention bandwagon. The greatest gift of health you can give yourself is to determine if you are pre-diabetic, and if so, take the required steps needed to reverse this dangerous condition before it is too late, and in the process, experience weight loss, increased energy, better sleep, and overall wellness. Thank you again for listening. To learn more about prediabetes prevention, go to www.reverseprediabetes.com/Dr. Ettinger or call 714-639-4360. Goodbye and take care.